UFC fighter pay, and he defended Dana apparently. And I can't remember, Dana White give the typical thing like they need to earn their money, they need to earn their pay, which is great when they're a rising star on a winning streak with already some good financial backing. But the problem about pay, the fighter pay, compared to from 15 years ago to now in the UFC, is that to be a good level at UFC, it needs to be your full-time job, and you need to have all the extras, your extra coaches, your private sessions, physios, your steroid supplier, all that nice stuff. You need all that. Otherwise, you're just simply not going to make it in the UFC. That wasn't the same 15 years ago. Even when someone was getting paid better 15 years ago, they still weren't on enough for it to be their full-time job. You could have rocked up with the UFC with some good experience, and you can fight in the top 15 doing MMA part-time. None of them are really earning enough to be able to do it full-time, or enough money to have all these extras. But now in the UFC, you need that. You can't be on 8-8 and lose a couple. And so say you're on a 10k contract, 10k to show, 10k to win. Best case scenario, you put all your money into this, all your life savings into this, you put on a great performance, win a 50k bonus, 10k, do that a couple times a year, 3 times a year, get your name known so you make money outside of it, and you're gold then. You know what I mean? You're in the UFC circle family almost, where you can fund yourself, you're on good money, you've got a good deal going, you've got a lot of fans to back you. That's great. A very realistic situation now is that you would start on a 10-10, and you'd be put in there with a very, very good guy. Maybe let's say he's already gone full professional, and you're doing it part-time. You have to work to support your family, or you have to be coaching on the side, doing these extra bits. And then you go in there and you get beaten up because it's realistic what's going to happen. You get beaten up because you're not performing at the same level they are. And then you go a couple fights where you only get paid your 10k show money. So you're on not even minimum wage for the whole year. Some goes to management more than normal. Probably some goes to some extra insurance. Maybe some pays for some flights or some injury, some rehab, some sort of stuff. Then you're gonna have to kiss your career goodbye realistically, unless you can get some sort of funding. And that's the problem with the pay. Like when people talk about the pay, you need to earn this much. I just don't feel like people get the opportunity to be at that level where you're earning a lot of money in the first place, even if they have the potential for it. If they're doing it part-time, they're just not going to be able to compete with these guys who are literally paid full-time as athletes, as MMA fighters. If you're doing it full-time, at the start, it's a big risk for these people. So that's kind of the issue that Dana doesn't really seem to acknowledge. Like, I think he just sees any money below 200k as just a small amount of money. If someone's getting paid anything less than 200k a fight, he just sees that as all one. Yeah, we know you're earning less. He doesn't see a difference between 10k and 150k per fight. So he's probably just there like, well, I know there's guys who earn a bit less. There's some guys who can't earn as much, but they have to work for it. Whereas no, like if you're on 10k show money, you're not really going to make it in the UFC. You know what I mean? That's just my thoughts on it, really. That's what he doesn't really seem to address, that these people need to be on at least a full-time wage if they're in the UFC. If you're fighting the UFC, you should be on, at a low level, you should have an option to take a salary, I think. I think that if you're at UFC, instead of getting paid this money, and then a bonus maybe, you're on a 45k salary, something like that, because at least these guys can do it full-time then and hang with these guys at a much higher level who are competing and working as an MMA fighter full-time. They don't have to worry about anything else. They have to be worrying about their bills. They've got that all paid for. It's just my thoughts on it, really, guys.